Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Ooh, sizzling hot. Welcome to a Hot Take. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishke.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Brother Lucas in the back.
Hot Take.
Lodge Mistress Millie.
Yeah.
And Brother Tim is here.
Hey.
We don't do these hot takes too often, but we had to do this one tonight because the movie is called The Lodge. And we are the Lodgecast. Why the fuck would we not do a movie called The Lodge?
It had to be done.
It's begging for it.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys know anything going into this?
Zero.
I knew nothing.
We've
Zero.
seen
Well,
the preview a million times.
I never saw
I have
the
never
we-
saw this preview.
Really?
knew-
That was a long time ago that they
The trailer,
led with this.
the trailer is very, very terrifying. It sets up a movie that we did not see.
Y'all had to have seen the preview because only movies I ever see are with y'all.
I avoided it.
It's out
At
there.
first, I thought it was the turning. I was like, "Oh yeah," and then like they're making her, and then I was like, "Wait, no, I saw that movie."
Yeah, it's
already.
very turning-esque.
we saw these directors' first film. I think it was their first film. Goodnight Mommy,
Yes.
and that was interesting.
Oh wait, those are the same guys, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
I
an
think it's gals.
Austrian duo, guy-girl duo.
Guy-girl duo. Okay.
Ooh.
Interesting. I missed Goodnight Mommy.
Goodnight
Yeah.
Mommy
should
was
check it out.
terrifying. It was like this super like bleak, like long, suspenseful thing with child trauma and fucking family dynamic.
Those themes carry over. Before we get into it, let's get a little schnapps action to help us along.
I think this might be the first schnapps ever on a hot take, just for the record.
It is.
From Rotten Tomatoes, a bone-chilling nightmare from the directors of Goodnight Mommy.
You don't say.
The Lodge follows a family who retreat to their remote winter cabin over the holidays when the father, Richard Armitage, is forced to abruptly depart for work. He leaves his children, Aiden, it's Jaeden Martell, and Mia, Lia McHugh, in the care of his new girlfriend, Grace, Riley Keough. Isolated and alone, a blizzard traps them inside the lodge as terrifying events summon specters from Grace's dark past.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting schnapps, considering what we actually just saw. But right off the bat, the first actress you see in this, it took me about 5 solid
Yes.
minutes.
I wasn't
Yes,
convinced it was
me
her.
too.
I was not convinced it was her till I saw her name in the credits, folks.
When
That's
her-
how fucking serious I am.
The her we're talking about is the one, the only Alicia Silverstone. And
And a thankless, ugly, forgettable fire agent kind of role. Re-examine your life.
the hothead-
Ask yourself the
Oh,
big
the
hard
hothead is
questions
out.
like,
The hothead
what am I
is
doing and
burning
why am I
tonight.
doing it?
The hothead's burning tonight. But I didn't know it was her until she had her trademark downturned mouth look. Like it was so trademark Silverstone. Nobody else can make a face quite like that.
I thought it was her in the beginning, but I honestly didn't know.
My mind,
Because she has not been on screen in a theater since the Clinton administration. Let's be real.
I don't know. She looks a little different.
my mind was trying to match her with like a CODIS database of faces, and I was
I take it back. I take it back. She did make a movie under the George W. Bush regime. It was the time travel movie with Brendan Fraser.
Blast from the past.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That
I
was
was-
it.
I was-
That was her last theatrical outing.
I was
guarantee it.
grafting Elizabeth Shue onto her, and I was like, that doesn't match. That doesn't match.
Yeah.
And then finally it settled on Alicia just in time for her to blow her brains out.
Yeah.
Oh
You don't-
my
A pretty
God.
gun in her mouth and bang.
My
A
head
nice
jolted
little-
back. I mean, I kind of knew it was coming because we.
Oh, we all knew it was coming.
Well, we
I
saw
knew it
it.
was coming.
Yeah.
It was
Right,
so.
right.
It was so telegraphed.
We
Yeah.
saw Goodnight Mommy, and we knew this guy's like Haneke, like Michael Haneke, and he does these long. This duo of directors do these long takes, and you know something dark's about to happen, and they'll have some bursts of violence.
And it is a burst. Like she's sitting there drinking wine, and then she just quickly reaches into her bag
But
and blows
it's
her
so
brains out.
telegraphed because it's like the previous scene. Her ex-husband's like, I want to finalize the divorce.
Sure.
Cut to
And she
her
goes, yep.
her straightening like Home and Garden magazines and Country Living magazines and like California Sunset magazines, like in a totally beautiful Crate and Barrel, like IKEA showroom.
Brother Tim, were you shocked?
Then she sits down at a table with like a glass of wine in the middle of the day.
Is your name
like,
Brother Tim, Lucas? Brother Tim, were you shocked when she blew her brains
great.
out?
And then she's like leaning over, rustling in her purse off screen, and you're just and
Lucas
the camera's,
can't stop.
And the
He
camera's
just can't stop.
slowly pushing in, and it's like, oh, and it's a white wall behind her. I wonder how this is gonna end.
I did recoil briefly, and then I was just let down by the lack of blood on the wall behind her. I was like, come on, you're going to blow your brains out. Let's make this a little more interesting.
Yeah, have the brains splatter against the kid's like family portrait or something.
Well,
with their smiles.
This all sets the table for the kids to travel to the titular lodge with their father and their soon-to-be stepmother. And you know what? I'll go out on a limb and say I was on board for this section of the movie because it was digging into the awkwardness of divorce plus trauma, and trying to integrate like a new potential parent into the situation. I thought that was
parent. It was their fault that Alicia Silverstone blew her brains out.
Yes,
See,
the kids blame her.
I was on the opposite spectrum where I thought this sets the table for some clunky student feature filmmaking that we are going to be like thrown into for the duration.
Ooh, student feature certified.
Uh-oh.
Because
was anybody
that opening was so flat.
I was
and tepid
how did we
and-
know how
and
you feel?
trite.
Hey,
I
we know how you feel.
I was on board. You know, I think this director duo knows how to shoot in like a Haneke manner, and so I was
jarring compositions that
No,
don't
I-
really work because once you kind of like use them up front in the first half, then in the back half they don't work. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you've been shooting these cockeyed,
We're gonna get to the
close-up
back half.
angles from reel one.
We're gonna get to the back
so your
half.
visual grammar is invalid.
Lodge
there's
Mistress Millie, what did
Yeah,
you think
Millie.
about this?
You know, I was kind of into it at the beginning in that I was like, okay, it's going to be like this awkward sort of like, you know, new woman coming into the
Very
family. And I was like, and I really thought because they were like obscuring her and obscuring her and obscuring
Just like Goodnight
her
Mommy, they really get off on obscuring a female character's face for as
a
long, as possible.
time. And I was kind of cool. I was interested. And then I was like, well, surely there's going to be something when the reveal happens. Like it's going to like,
Nope.
she's going to look like the mom or, you know, something. But no, yeah, it was like
Kind of did look like Alicia Silverstone, just the
I
younger,
thought
younger,
she did,
thinner
yeah.
version, which I didn't know if that was
looks like
accidental.
Drew
or-
Barrymore
Oh, maybe it
slash
was on
Alicia
purpose.
Silverstone. Yeah.
It was definitely Drew Barrymore merged with Alicia Silverstone. So they get to the lodge. It's snowing. The dad has some cockamamie reason that he has to leave them for a few days, which
very cockamamie.
like
Vague reasons.
turn that up because that's one of your major points of the movie is that the dad is gone.
And what was his job? He wrote a book.
He-
She was a subject of said book, but
He-
we don't know what the
The
fuck he
kids do
writes
some
about.
internet sleuthing and they
Yeah.
realize that their stepmother to be was the only survivor of a religious cult that committed mass suicide, which
a la
is
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah,
all
Shot-
completely
shot, like,
Heaven's
ripped
Gate.
off.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
with the purple diamond sheets.
I
They had
was
the shoe shots.
And the
Heaven's Gate should
Nikes.
sue.
my head got
They should sue.
my
They
head
should
got a little
sue.
hot during that because I love all sorts of cult trivia, cult ephemera, and they just straight up
Yeah.
ripped it.
Plagiarized it.
They
Yeah.
If you can plagiarize a death ritual,
It's brutal, man. This is 2020 times.
and I wasn't really impressed with the cult leader. Like he was just kind of stock, you know, the guy that they see
He was
video
50.
of.
Just he was Jake Busey 101.
Yeah, he wasn't creepy enough, really.
He wasn't creepy enough, but I was ready to let that slide because I was enough into it at this point. So they go to the lodge. The
Mother Lodge.
The dad fucking leaves, and the kids are stuck there with the mom.
Well, hold up, y'all. You guys are going a little too
The
fast.
mom to
We're
be.
forgetting a big
'Cause
character in this movie.
I would have walked out of this movie 30 minutes in because typically I like things to happen in my movies.
But
No, wait. So 30 minutes in, right? Because I clocked it, and poor
I'm
Tim was
sure
sitting
you
next to
did.
me, and I
I'm
was like,
sure you
man,
did.
Tim must be hating me because I'm just like, I can't stop.
Tim with their deep sighs coming out of the boy.
30
There's
minutes,
a couple.
but 30 minutes in, I look at my watch and go, nothing has happened because the suicide at the cold open doesn't count. I'm like, nothing has happened. and then as soon as I say that to myself, oh no, someone falls through the ice. And I'm like, oh, finally something's happening. And then 2 minutes later, oh wait, nope, false alarm. Nope, he's leaving her. He's leaving. He's going out of town. He's leaving him at the lodge. Okay, got it.
So, like I said, he leaves and they just kind of have this Cold War standoff.
Yeah,
where
which takes way too long.
Which
It takes
a
another
long
30
time.
minutes. It takes another 30 minutes because I clocked it again. So then it is almost exactly an hour into the runtime. It's 56 minutes.
And yet,
when something finally does happen for real this time, something finally happens.
And yet, I was still with it. Was anybody in the car?
Oh my God, I would have been so gone. I would have been so gone on my way home if I was alone.
I was so bored.
That was the section that kind of lost me. They should have started because eventually
It takes them an hour for her to wake up and all their stuff is
All right,
gone.
Lucas, settle down.
Fucking hour.
It's okay.
that turn should have happened
30 minutes.
30
in.
minutes earlier.
Thank
Sure,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
But I was still with it. I was ready for a slow burn,
Get the fuck out of here.
just chilling in a cabin. I was with it.
fuck off.
You do love a cabin.
I was enjoying like the tension of like
There you
the
go.
hatred for new mommy
There you
and being
go.
like, to what extent are they going to go to?
Exactly.
And then when it reveals that she's taking these psychotic pills to like keep her shit at bay, and I'm like, okay, now we have to question what's real for
Yeah.
her and what's really happening for everyone else in the cabin.
Yeah.
And I was kind of invested in that tension, but then it was so boring. It's like the dog never left his bed the entire movie,
The dog
just
never
staring
left.
down, nothing happening.
Cutaway of the Virgin Mother painting, looking at her
with no
funny.
significance.
The dog's name is Grady. Is that a Shining throwback? Wasn't there a Grady in there?
This movie has some influences. They're watching The Thing for a good 5 minutes.
Okay.
That was the only time the movie was interesting.
I gotta summon the
was-
salad dragon. I gotta summon him.
The Salad Dragon. A scene in a movie that is so bizarre, baffling, or transcendent that it instantly justifies the price of admission. Or Reese Witherspoon's leafy transformation in A Wrinkle in Time.
Okay. They watch The Thing. They're just kind of sitting around.
The best part of it, like two of the best parts.
watching The Thing. I heard, I mean, this was a discount Tuesday, by the way.
Discount night.
People came to play.
And behind us, while they were watching The Thing in the movie, the 1982 version, the dude behind me was like, "This is the best part of the movie by far," talking about the lodge. And the stepmom is a little disturbed by this because there's some body horror going down, and she's like, "You guys want to watch something else?" And by God, they turn on Jack Frost, not the horror movie Jack Frost. Jack Frost, the PG Michael Keaton 1998 family film
For a dad, he's the coolest.
where his spirit is put into a snowman.
Yeah.
It effectively ended Michael Keaton's career theatrically. He didn't work again for like
I
20
watched that movie in the theater and then I rented it and showed as many people as I could to just say, look at what the fuck Michael Keaton's doing right now.
Yeah, that's how you know these directors have some taste.
He
because they
passed on
put
Batman
Jack-
Forever, but took Jack Frost.
It was amazing that showed up. My spirits soared. And then that's when the movie hit a brick wall for me. That's when I was done. When the Jack Frost movie that they're watching starts to glitch out, as it was glitching out, so went my bone count. Because at that point, they bring out this gas heater. Yes. And the stepmother to be is like, that smells weird. Is that okay that we have that indoors?
No, but it's even before that. She goes to the kid and she's like, "Hey, something's wrong between us. We gotta talk." And he's like, "Hormones." And she's like, "There's nothing wrong." And he's like, "Nope, everything's fine." And the very next scene, he hands her some hot chocolate and he's like, "Here, I made this for you."
I thought he like jizzed in
Oh,
it or something.
I
Thanks.
thought he jizzed in it too.
Because he's watching her come out of the shower naked and she sees him. Like they didn't, oh my God, they needed to go so much further in so many of these directions that they set up. But after the gas heater situation, there's a lot of strange dreams, like what is real, what is dreams already. I mean,
Well,
come
I
on.
thought they were going supernatural, and I was like, no, this is dumb. They're going supernatural, but then there's a twist.
They wake up and all of their stuff is gone.
So
And
the kids are up to some fuckery trying to mess with her, and At first, I had to question it. I was like, all right, does this house have some fucking powers or some shit?
Because they keep showing this dollhouse version of the house. Like, that's one of the main motifs of this. And so you're like, that's got to figure in somehow. It doesn't really.
No.
And like if I was the filmmakers, I would have been like, oh, I think Ari Aster beat us to this imagery.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Maybe we don't try to imitate it because
Hereditary.
everyone's just gonna think, oh, this is like Ari Aster light.
Copy.
But
yeah.
but they wake up after the gas heater scenario, and it's to be understood that they all died from the gas heater, and they are now in purgatory in this lodge.
Did you guys think that ever?
I didn't know what to think because I checked out so fucking hard
Yeah.
at this point. I think it's really like when somebody tries to explain a dream they had to you, no matter how outlandish it is, if you didn't have that dream, you're so fucking bored. When a movie is so far up its own ass like this, where you don't know what's real or what's fake or what's a dream for an extended period of time, I mean, I'm looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, I wish they would have shown that the kids were messing with her earlier, just to sort of prepare for it. Because if they show the kids are messing with her and then she goes into a psychotic mode and they can't control her, that's the movie.
That's
right
great.
there.
That's called point of view, Bishki, and most
Yeah.
filmmakers have one.
Yeah,
But
and
instead, they let her literally wander the earth.
Oh, I
There
hate
are
when
no
they do
there are no
that.
rules. They don't know what rules are. They break the rules. They don't follow them.
When
Like when they
she-
reveal the actual like, oh, the kids are fucking with her. It's like, of course they are, and it's anticlimactic. And then like
Yeah.
they show the dad all of a sudden, and it's like, who cares? Like you know nothing about tension or building suspense.
and
or,
you
like,
want
anything.
Yeah.
like,
you want the
what
crazy
a
cult.
fucking mess.
You want the crazy cult mom to be attacking the kids for a longer period
Yes.
because you need a villain in this movie. Like for so much of the movie,
She's
it's just
never
like
threatening.
it's
She's
just
just
like
drag assing around. She's walking really slow.
they're all drag assing around.
Brother Tim, were you on the edge of your seat during this
No, I
section?
kept trying to find a comfortable place in the back part of my seat and shifting my feet around because they were going numb.
Oh,
Yeah, no. The amount of tension building, like it flew the coop a long time ago, and I was more worried about the fucking dog left out in the cold
Yeah.
than any of these characters.
Ugh.
But I kept thinking that there was gonna be a twist to this movie that would like hold its weight in blood, and like that twist just never came. Every time they revealed something, I was like,
yeah. It's during this purgatory section, especially when she's wandering out in the snow, that you start hearing the discount crowd turn on.
Yes.
They
That's what I was going to say.
they start going.
Well, when she swoops around and does her, circle, and the camera pans back over and everybody knows what's coming, and there it is, the lodge. Everyone in the audience went, "Oh!"
We thought she was making
It
some.
was like an audible groan.
Yeah, we're back at the lodge.
We thought she was making her way towards the town nearby, but she just went in a big circle. And so we try to keep it professional while we're watching these movies. Sometimes Lucas will have to gasp or leave or yell or do whatever he has to do. But we try to keep it. We try to not tip our hand. But at that point, and I tend to do this with my goodly wife sometimes, I reached over and I jacked off an invisible dick right in front of her. And she nodded solemnly, and she knew exactly what I meant, because this movie's jacking around. Like, what are you doing?
I know. You know what's interesting is it was 30 minutes in when she like fell through the ice, but like it was okay. They got her to safety. When I realized that it was on me, I was like, wait a second. I went into this thinking it was a horror movie just from my vague recollection of the title, but I can't remember the trailer. But I know nothing about it. And Neon, like I know the distributor's
You're in
not
your
like,
own dream state.
not strong. But then I realized, wait a second, this could be a drama, and I'm looking at this wrong, right? I'm like waiting for shit to happen. But then I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this is like the tropes and setups and like archetypes of horror.
It's marketed as a horror
So it's
movie.
supposed to be horror. So no, I'm not wrong. Like I'm supposed to be feeling like dread or suspense or something. And like tonally, this has none of that. Like nothing.
But
Like,
the
it
audience was ready
death.
for it. But when you fuck with a discount crowd and you build something up that you don't put a cherry on top of, ooh, God help you. God help. You should repent. You need to repent.
I mean,
Yeah.
we got to witness an in-person forward review at the end of the movie.
Oh my
man.
God.
Yes, we
so,
did.
Took the booze right out of my mouth.
Waste of a Tuesday.
Waste of a Tuesday. That's what was
Yeah.
exclaimed when the screen went to black and the credits began.
And that means Tuesday discount night because that's
Yeah.
the only night of the week they're coming out with these prices.
Waste of a Tuesday.
You wasted their one shot to promote your movie. They would have gone to work, school, church tomorrow.
And the sad thing is, it's like this is a rather independent film. It's an AMC artisan release. And we want to support this kind of stuff
Yeah.
and make sure that weird stuff keeps trickling into the AMC.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't abuse us like this, folks. Like, you can't do that. These people were ready for a good, scary time.
Question: why did you not end it? Like, why did we need to end at that dinner scene? Like, couldn't you just ended it outside?
You could have ended it anywhere.
Yes.
Like, it got to the
But the
point.
rhythm was so weird.
It got to the point where every time it slowly zoomed in on something, I'm like, you may as well end it. Like, I started getting that turning sort of feeling, like we're about to
Yeah.
be royally fucked with, and I wasn't disappointed. Like, it fucks you at the end. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't give you anything that you think you even remotely want, and then you're just left to stew in your own Tuesday juices.
Yeah, they do kill the dad just for ultimate spoilers. The Riley Keough stepmom kills the dad, and then the little girl has to mourn all over again after she found out her real mom died.
A lot of grief
And
in this.
that little girl, she looked like Jake Lloyd to me. But she could cry like no other.
She
And
could.
God, I
it
felt
was
so bad for her. Yeah.
I felt really bad.
What did
like,
those fucking directors
Her-
say to her?
Yeah.
her
what do her
best,
parents
best
say?
Your mommy's never
crying-
coming back. Now
I
action!
know.
She's never coming
My
back.
God.
Action!
But the best crying was when she was crying in that room over her mother.
yes.
That was some good crying. I
no,
thought.
that was very
She's
good
like,
and disturbing.
Mommy can't get into heaven. Mommy can't get
Now I
into
just
heaven.
want you to imagine that it's your mommy who killed herself, and you're never going to get into heaven. See her, okay? Now roll camera.
It was like that was real, man. That
It
was
was
some
real.
real
Yeah.
tears.
It was real
It felt
grief.
real.
And they like let it roll. Like it's not just
Yeah.
like a quick cut to give us a flavor. They like make us fucking eat like half a bowl of it.
They make us eat the grief.
And Book of Henry kid, that kid, I don't know what read I have on him. He always kind of looks like he's just kind of pissed off all the time.
yeah,
And
they needed to dig more into his voyeuristic tendencies. Like, come on.
Mhm.
And he was the alt-right kid in Knives Out that didn't really even
Didn't
have a
do
line.
anything. Yeah.
Like, he's there. Like, use his
He's been in
creepiness.
a lot. Yeah.
He is kind of creepy.
Fuck. Let's go to them bones. Brother Tim, just set the stage for us here.
Well, I was intrigued by the trailer because it go back and watch the trailer. It says this is a terrifying movie. The way that it's cut, it's like, wow, you get to this fucking lodge and it is a fucking nightmare up in there. And I liked Goodnight Mommy, so I came in with high spirits, hoping I was going to get a movie that I did not get.
Yeah.
One bone.
Waste of a
Whoa.
Tuesday. One bone. All right. Tim set the table. Brother Bishke?
Well, I like my horror art house. I
Yeah.
do. Typical run of the mill spooks and things I just don't get into. So
They don't do it for
when
you.
this movie started out and it was art house horror, I mean, I knew the Burbank crowd might turn on it, but I was like, this could go places that I like it to go.
You thought you were better than them.
I was feeling elite and and then yeah, and then just the middle section was what really hurt for
Oh,
me
it's punishing.
because they're just kind of kicking around the house and
What did you guys say? Drag acid?
drag ass and they're
Drag
it's
ass
just
and-
drag ass
Ass over tea kettle.
and these filmmakers have elements. I mean, they have the cult thing. Like, let's bring that in. Let's
Uh-huh.
bring some Christian elements in. I don't think they had that down too well, but
No.
It was so bland. It was
yeah.
like the
Yes.
blandest shit
Yeah.
ever. At least Heaven's Gate had a comment. It made sense. Like we have to get on the comment. Like of course.
yeah, and
Repent was written in steam on the mirror.
oh, that was bad.
And they had duct tape over their mouth that had sin written over it. Like pretty.
Don't
Don't forget the
like,
painting
Dixie
that
Chicks
we saw
album
20 many fucking times that paid off for nothing.
But I like Riley Keough. I liked.
She has goodwill built up from under the surface.
I love Riley Keough.
I like the way these guys shoot, like the Haneke of horror. I like the way that they're shooting this film, which carries a lot for me. So I'm probably higher than most, but I'll give it 2 bones.
There you go.
Yeah, 2
bones. Oh, brother Lucas, lay waste.
I wish I could be as generous as Brother Bishke here. I love the love and light coming from him. I remember Goodnight Mommy coming out, and I saw the trailer for that. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, this looks interesting. This looks like a woman recovering from some kind of cosmetic surgery, and her kids aren't quite sure if the surgery affected her brain, and maybe she might try to kill them in their sleep. That was the vibe I got from the trailer. Now, whether or not that's the movie they made, I will never, ever know, because after tonight's movie, I will never, ever watch another one of their movies for as long as I live.
Wow.
I knew from the opening shot that this was going to be bad.
What was the opening shot?
Exactly.
Oh, God, he's pulling one of those again.
It was a completely... No, it was a Richard Jewell, completely fucking random interior of Alicia Silverstone's house where she's going to kill herself. That, again, I think only comes back one other time at the end of the movie when the dad is, like, getting shit from the house, and then he sees, like, the diorama that kind of spells out, like, what his children were planning on doing, like, how they were going to make her go crazy with, like, the Barbie dolls, like, telling the story that we just saw. But no, from those opening shots, they were arbitrary, random. There were, like, weird dissolves in between the rooms, and I'm thinking... This is your opening, like this is,
and then it cuts to set up the rooms of the lodge,
and then it cuts to like Alicia Silverstone, or a woman that looks like Alicia Silverstone, like putting on lip gloss, and then it says like
that's when I knew it was her.
Then it says the lodge, like the title is over, but there's no other credits, so it's like, wait, was that Alicia Silverstone? And then like the whole first act, I'm like not sure, but I would have walked out of this like 30 minutes in because, like I said, like I'm giving you my valuable time,
your Tuesday time,
to just get my attention. Keep my attention and reward my attention because like that's what you do, you know, like and like I think of that great line from Walk the Line that came from Gil Dennis, not James Mangold, although they're both co-credited as co-writers, but it's like if you were dying out in that street and you could only play one song, what would that song be? And I look at this movie and I'm thinking like, this is your song? Like, this is the fucking movie you're going to make? And I guess it's like from Hammer Films, from the Hammer Library.
What's he about to do, Bishke?
So it's like IP that is somehow usable.
Interesting.
But this movie's a woof, man. Ugly, boring, flat as a pancake. Fucking go fuck yourself. I would have booed it. I honest to God would have booed had the guy not said, what a waste of a Tuesday. Because I was like, I'm not going to try to like ride his coattails, but I was like, yes, sir, you are 100% correct.
I think these early year films are making Lucas a dull boy.
Underwater was 3.5 bones. Like, that's already on my Amazon wish list to own on Blu-ray.
Lodge Mistress.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it as much as Lucas did, but I would say, you know, were there only 5 people in the movie? Were there even any other folks?
There was a funeral scene where they release a bunch of black balloons.
Oh, that's right. There was the funeral scene. That was cool.
Through this hole in a gazebo. And I was watching the guy on the left, and I knew they only had one shot at it. And the guy on the left released his balloons, and his was the only one that didn't go up through the hole.
Aww.
And you could see him freaking out because he's like, oh, fuck, mine's the only one that didn't go. And then they cut away from him. And then when they cut back, you could see his little balloon stuck up in the
Oh, babe.
See, that's a good detail.
That is a great detail. I want to follow that guy through a movie.
But that was a cool sequence. I liked when the balloons were going up, and I liked seeing that whole crew with their black balloons.
I was on board through Jack Frost.
Yeah. No, I mean, I always find it to be interesting when you do a film with like a really small cast. And I thought that there were opportunities here. And it's always an interesting setup to me. It's like the new woman in the family. And then it's like the mother killed herself because he was getting remarried. Like there was opportunity there and it was just not seized. But, you know, I mean, there were some good shots. I thought that, you know, there were some interesting elements. I thought it really fell apart once they went to the snow cabin. But other than that, I will just say 1.5 bones.
1.5
That's low for
bones.
me.
That's very low for the Lodge Mistress. You usually give 2.5 at least.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I gave it so much time and I gave it so many opportunities and I overlooked so many things, but I should have seen the signs when they ripped off wholeheartedly the Heaven's Gate cult. Really upsetting for me. Like, at least change the color of the shrouds that were put over the bodies. Oh, and now knowing where the movie went, and I circle back around and I look at that, it just burns me even more. That said, fuck. I gotta throw it one bone. Because no matter how much goodwill that it engendered within me for the early going.
Can I do a live rewrite?
You can.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
I was just sitting here like listening to everyone, give their bones, and because I only give a woof when like the concept's not usable, right? Where it's just like, that's not a good concept. Like this concept we just saw tonight, like I wouldn't make this a movie. But then I'm thinking, well, like how would I turn it into at least one bone?
Yes.
And again, it goes back to what Bishke was saying with point of view. It would be a better movie if it was told from the dad's point of view. Let's say instead of Richard Armitage, it's actually like an actor we care about, like a good actor who's charming and like a good guy and like, you know, and you
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, thank you. You set it up. Maybe not that good.
Okay.
It's a little too good. But basically you set it up so the dad is the lead. He's our hero. And yeah, for whatever reason, we open with he and his wife getting divorced. The wife kills herself off screen. Could still be Alicia Silverstone, but like, you know, then he cut to 6 months later, a year later, however long later, but like long enough so that when he's dating someone new, we don't lose sympathy for him, right?
Sure.
So then they all go up to the cabin.
The lodge,
excuse me, I'm sorry. Even though it was more like a cabin, but whatever. A chalet. But long story short,
too late.
The kids have their suspicions about the new stepmom. And the stepmom is a little overly religious and weird and blah, 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 blah. And then the midpoint, right? So at like the 60-minute mark, you've had like a bunch of weird shit happening up until that point. But then like the dad finds out himself that his wife or his fiance survived this cult or whatever.
He hasn't already literally written the book.
Correct. Like he discovers it during the blizzard or whatever, and then is trying to kind of get his family to safety while she's slowly going more and more crazy and going to try and kill all of them and whatever.
It makes more sense.
Like if she would have ran out of her medication and she would have been slipping down into some weird thing where every night they go to sleep wondering if they're all going to wake up.
Yeah, you know what would be cool? Is if she was hiding the medication like she was, but when she falls into the lake, she loses it or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that's the one thing
and then
they don't realize.
They're stuck in the lodge with someone losing their mind that's dipping back in her dark, weird past. And now they're all in danger.
Right, because you still have the same movie, right? Because what's the movie about? The movie's about this girl who's got trauma, who's got demons, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, we're still making that same movie, except we're just making it more entertaining and engaging.
Fixed it. But for this movie that we saw, I give it one bone. But Lucas, bravo, sir. You're still batting 1,000 for me. Your live rewrites are some of the ambrosia of the gods.
Thank you.
Come to earth. All right, well, we survived the lodge. I don't think it was a waste of a Tuesday because we're all here together.
I think it was very hot. It was very hot.
Yeah.
Very hot take.
Yeah, it was a scalding hot take. Lodge Mistress Millie, Brother Tim, thank you for joining us on this sojourn to the lodge.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Keep it sizzling out there.
Good night, Lodgecasters.
Love and light.
Good night, Lodge.
Oh!